Here I am. Let me tell you, Facebook drives me crazy. It drives me crazy because I go to start the video and I'm logged out of Facebook. When did I log out of Facebook? Never. That's when. And then they want you to not only log in, but then get a code, and it's like, what's your firstborn's birth date? And you say, I don't have firstborn, and they said, I don't care. So I'm, okay, they don't do that, but I had to go find my phone to get the code generator so I could log in, blah, blah, blah. But here we are. I am just going to verify that we have sound, because that is always important. We do. I don't think this is the right sound though. See, let's just see. Hey, Lorene, I don't think that this is the right. Yeah. Is it gonna let me fix? What's that button do? I swear to you. This is a different version of live than they usually give me, and it did not let me change the microphone. So like, why am I wearing this microphone? Why am I wearing it? It's not doing anything. It's not doing anything. So if you can't hear me as good as usual today, you can blame Facebook. I'm not wearing this if it's not gonna matter, why am I wearing that? Throw that down. For starters, as usual, completely unprepared. I am completely and utterly unprepared. I don't even have the recipe pulled up, but I'm going to get it. I'm going to grab it right now. It's my own recipe, so I know where to find it. It's on my website. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the cookie dough. I'm not cooking it or baking it right now, but I will tell you how you can if you want to. It is too early in December for me to be responsible for an entire batch of sugar cookies. So today, after last week's fiasco, oh my gosh, too many windows open too. I got so many problems. Hi Heather, I got so many problems. Hey Jill, hey Mary. Oh gosh, you guys are on the ball today. I forgot what I was gonna say. It was of no importance. Of that, I am sure. So I'm going to grab a bowl. What I was going to say is, well, I already said it. I don't have anything prepared. This butter's been sitting out, but it's still not soft enough. Hopefully I don't drop this bowl, because that's going to be very loud. I'm just going to leave those other ones out. I've got my mixer out, because oh, you can't even see it. I've got my mixer out because I assumed that I'm going to need it. But I didn't actually read the recipe. So, a multi-day process. Yeah, so I am going to be super lazy. And we're going to make the cookie dough, and then I'm going to roll it all up like I was making freezer cookies. So when I do bake them, I'm just going to slice them, because I just do not have the patience for rolling anything out right now. Okay, so let's see, Susie, where's your recipe? So we're going to need, I'll tell you the ingredients. I'll also share the recipe link in the comments here, because I can do that in case anybody wants to find them easily without having to listen to me yabber on all day. So you'll need 3 cups all-purpose flour, a teaspoon of baking powder, a teaspoon of baking soda, 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, 1 cup of butter, 2 eggs, 1.5 cups of sugar, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And in case you really didn't believe that I was horribly unprepared for this, I'm going to have to go pour flour out of my giant flour bag off screen to make these. But it's just right over there. Oh, I know what I was going to say a second ago. After Friday's disaster where my computer just shut down, I've got my computer plugged in. I also have the high-speed internet plugged in, so I have cords like mid-air in all sorts of directions here. And it looks like my internet speed is still kind of wonky, so what's going on here? Could you open up at any time, computer? Open network preferences. There. Holy mackerel. I'm going to try and turn the Wi-Fi off and see if that fixes it. Hey, Sandra. Okay. I'm going to go get some flour. Amuse yourselves for a moment. Welcome back. We now have flour. Okay, so recipe says we're going to combine our flour, baking powder, baking soda, and salt in a large bowl. So I have a bowl here. So 3 cups of flour, which I buried my measuring cup in the bowl. Side note, I washed my hands before we started. So this is a 1/2 cup measure. This bowl might not be big enough. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because 6 1/2 cups makes 3 cups. And then we needed 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, and you know I'm not going to measure that. Come on. I'm just not. What did I say? Baking soda and baking powder, and that was a teaspoon each. So, oh, guys, I don't know how well you can see how lovely my spice cabinet looks these days. I'm really quite smitten. Okay, baking powder, baking soda. Did I say 1/2 teaspoon? I've already forgotten. So, no, a whole teaspoon. A whole teaspoon of baking powder and baking soda. So that's 3 cups. Flour, teaspoon of baking powder, teaspoon of baking soda, 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. We're mixing that all together. Oh, let's use my new spatula. My new kitty spatula. I'll just mix those up. All right. Perfect. Beautiful. Flour, salt, soda, powder. Boom. Next step is going to be the butter and the sugar, I'm sure. Using a fork or pastry blender, cut in butter until mixture is crumbly. All right, so we need 1 cup of butter, so it doesn't matter that my butter's not soft. And we're going to use my favorite trick when I have to cut in butter, and that's called we grate it. So I'm going to move this flour because I no longer need it. Maybe I didn't need that mixer at all. That'll teach me for not reading the recipe. So I'm going to cut off a cup of butter. Here I was softening this butter for nothing. And actually, I don't even use this back piece usually. I use hold, and I know you're not going to be able to see very good. I'll angle this down a bit. Oh look, did you see that tail go by? So this is also where you can bust your knuckles up, but I just try and put it on the side and grate it right into the flour mixture. Then you get the idea. I'm going to just stir that butter that we already have in because I want this to mix fairly easily. And if I wait and do all the butter at once, it's going to stick together. This way it kind of disperses a bit more. And then I will grate the rest. So this really isn't going to take very long because I'm not going to bake it. I am going to tell you how. And again, I shared the recipe in the comments, so you can just click that link if you want to come back and make them later and you don't want to have to watch this video in order to do so. Just be careful if you're using the grating trick. When you get down to the last little bit, that's when you can hurt yourself. So just cut the rest of this off. Did I just spill some on the counter? Yes, I did. And then we'll mix that in. I'll bring you all back down a little bit. Because I'm going to get in here with my hands. I'm really still irritated that my microphone wasn't picking up. I know that you can hear me all right, but I like the clarity that you get from the microphone instead. So, oh, there's the butter I lost. Throw that in. I'm going to put the rest of this butter away because I don't need it before I get in here with my hands. Again, hands are clean, but I'm just going to go in. It's easier to incorporate the butter this way. This is where you can get kids involved again, as long as their hands are clean. And you want it so that if you were to take a handful and squeeze it, it sort of stays together at first and then it falls apart. If it never stays together, then you don't have it mixed at all. Like it starts the dough and it falls apart. So I'm going to call that good because I don't have very high standards. I'm going to wash my hands. And I'm going to bring you back up to talk to me. Thank you. I know. I was like, I am not prepared at all. The least I can do is put on a snowman apron. The least I can do is be festive in my apron. So we have got our butter cut in pretty well. So then we're going to get a separate bowl. And we're going to beat our eggs, add in our sugar, and our vanilla. So we needed 2 eggs. I'll grab those from the fridge. Can y'all hear Claire screaming in the background? Bad news for me, because my nose is running, and now I'm going to have to wash my hands again after I do that. Oh, I was going to... It's funny that you say that, Heather, because I was going to say that we call this type of grater the knuckle buster. I believe that's my father's term. But we call it the knuckle buster, and I have grated my finger. I've had some rotten injuries from that grater, but from grating carrots. I'm usually okay with butter. So 2 eggs in the bowl. We need our sugar. What was that, 1.5 cups? Yeah. I'll go get my sugar container. We haven't had a cooking show since I got all my new containers, have we? Aren't they pretty? Hey, Nancy. Yeah, do you like all my decor here? So I got my bow. That's the bow that's left over from when I did the demos when I made the wreath, because I was like, what am I supposed to do with all these bows? So I just shoved it up there. And it's hard to see, but I've got a pom-pom garland there. Got my snowman. I was going to switch out my mugs to all Christmas ones, and I keep forgetting. Maybe tomorrow. So we need 1.5 cups of sugar. This is a 1/3. Oh, you know I'm going to use the 1/3. So 1, 2, 3. That's a cup. 1.5 cups. It's a wonder anything I make turns out. And a little bit more. And then we need vanilla, a teaspoon, I think, of vanilla. Yeah. So we'll grab some vanilla. Teaspoon. I know, those little pom-poms. Let me tell you about those little pom-poms. I got those many years ago. One year for Christmas for my classes, I made like the reindeer candy canes. We just get the candy canes, or Rudolph candy canes. And you put the googly eyes and the red nose. So the googly eyes I used for my pine cone ornament there a few weeks ago. Those were left over from that project. And those pom-poms are left over from that project. And usually I hang that up in the TV room. But because I have the new yarn pom-pom garland in there, I didn't bother. So what you're missing is I'm just mixing the eggs, the sugar, and the vanilla with my favorite mini whisk. And now, normally, I am not a person who bakes properly. I don't usually mix my wet ingredients and then my dry ingredients separately. I usually just slam everything together because I'm a rebel like that. But this recipe is one where I actually do it separately, and I think that's why it's so good. So I'm going to move you all down again. Doo-doo-doo. Bum, ba, bum. So we've got our sugar, egg, and vanilla mixture. Just going to clean out my whisk a little bit here. Throw it over in the sink. And then we've got our flour, baking soda, baking powder, salt, whatever else is in there, mixture. So we have the two together. And then we are going to mix, adding this mixture to this mixture, and we're going to stir it into a dough forms. So no, Suzanne, you did not need to get out your KitchenAid mixer. You could use the mixer, but you don't need it. And I'm just going to pour about half in the bowl, and we'll start to mix it up. I'm still not sure that this bowl is big enough, and I'm not sure that I'm not going to dump it in the mixer anyway. I love making those with my kiddos. Yes, they make great gifts, especially if you're giving something out to a lot of people, and I think that year I made 100 of them. Oh, it's starting to smell like cookies. Starting to smell like cookies. Okay, so I'm gonna, don't get sick. I'm gonna bring you down one more time. Bum-ba-dum. There. So it's starting to come together a little bit, but I still have the rest of this. So I'm just gonna dump it all in. Can you guys hear all the scampering going on around me? That's Clara. She's found a leaf. So if you were a sensible person and used a bigger bowl, you'd probably be able to do this with mixture, but I didn't. So I'm just going to get in there. I'm going to bring you back up so I can talk to you while I make a mess. So I'm just going to go in with my hands and try and mix this dough up. Yeah, so this is mostly it. And then once this has all come together, if you were going to bake them, you would still put this in the fridge for an hour to let the dough cool, or yeah, cool. That's what happens in the fridge. But since I'm not going to bake them right away, I'm going to put them right into the freezer. Okay, so this is coming together. It's not fully together, and I know at the bottom of the bowl there's going to be a lot of bits that still need to be incorporated. But it's coming together enough that I'm going to clear my island off here, and I'm going to dump some of the dough on the floor, evidently. I'm going to dump it out on the countertop. It's just going to be easier for me to bring together. Oh, let's try not to get any inside our telephones, shall we? Perhaps I would have been wise to put this in my mixer. So tell me, 7 people who are watching live, who started their Christmas baking, like actual full-on baking, not making dough to put in the freezer? And if you haven't, will you do some Christmas baking? Or are you like me and usually just wait around for people to give you give you stuff? Okay, I know you can't see, so I'll pick it up. This dough is coming together pretty well. So I'm going to wash my hands yet again after I give it one more little mix. I really just want to eat it. I know I'm not supposed to eat raw cookie dough, but I sort of feel like if that's the thing in 2020 that does me in, then oh well. Wash my hands again. So, while I'm doing this, I was having a conversation with Anna Maria and my messages yesterday. She was looking for my, you pulled out the recipes? Yeah. Oh, Linda, you're always making fruitcake. That's nothing fancy. I was talking to Anna Maria yesterday. She wanted my French macaron recipe. Remember we made those way back in the spring? And I thought she meant my Easter bird's nest cookies because she called them my pastel cookies or something. Either that or I just didn't read properly. So I've had such a good idea. Oh, I want to know what a Danish pastry star is. That sounds fancy. My Easter bird's nest cookies. I was thinking a person could make them and turn them into Christmas wreaths. If you dyed the coconut green and just green, and you made them in the circle, like you do anyway, and then you had the holiday eggies or mini eggs that are just the red, green, and white, and you could put them together like they were holly. People, those who know that this is a flippin' genius idea. You know that it is. Okay, what I'm going to do, I've got clean hands again, is I am going to form my dough into a bit of a log. So if you thought that you were going to roll out your dough when you brought it out of the freezer, if you were going to freeze it, I would make it flat like kind of like a Frisbee so that it'd be easier to roll out. I'm planning to just slice them and bake them when they come back out. Oh, with mini M&Ms. Oh, you see, I think that it needs to be the Christmas Aggies, though, because, well, the M&Ms, they do get good, too. Something happens. Something happens in the molecular structure on that chocolate inside a candy coating when it's been in the oven. Something happens, and it's delicious. All right. Oh, I just threw some dough on the floor. So I've got a bit of a log here. It's not very nice looking. I'm going to go grab some saran wrap without tripping over a cord, ideally. That's the trick, isn't it? And then, of course, we have one of these, and the cutter's fallen off. It fell off like a year ago. But I still keep it there so I can, instead of just using scissors like a normal human. I don't think anyone needs a tutorial on how to do this, but I roll out and cut your cookies and then freeze them. Yeah, see, that's smart, but I'm not going to do that either. I would suggest for people who are planning to roll them or cut them with cookie cutters, be smart like Heather and roll them out and cut them before you freeze them. That'll make life super simple for you. I just don't care. I don't have children. I just want cookies. And remember, was that last week that I was complaining about having too many cookie cutters, and here is the opportunity to use a cookie cutter and I can't even be bothered? Typical Susie. Okay, so we're going to bring you back down. Saran wrap, dough. Give this guy a nice little wrap. Roll him out a bit more. And I'll bring you back up. And you know what? Week before Christmas, Susie may decide that she wants to roll these out. And if she does, she still can. It's not like I've made a decision that I can never come back from. It's just rolled dough. So I'm just going to try and get this a little bit more equal because the middle's kind of fat. She's a little fat in the middle. She's a little fat in the middle. So then just pretend like it's a sausage. All right, so I've got my log of dough. And I'm probably going to have to bend this a little bit because I was going to put it in a Ziploc bag. So maybe the wise thing would be to divide it into two and do it that way. If you were going to bake them right away, you would roll them out on a floured surface, cut them out with your knife or cookie cutters, and then after you've refrigerated for an hour, don't forget to refrigerate, then you're going to bake them at 375. You're going to roll them out until it's about an eighth of an inch thick. And then you're going to bake for 6 to 10 minutes. So when they come out of the oven, you want to move them immediately to a cooling rack. And boom, you're done. I think if I can find myself on PC Express, because you know I'm not going in a store, the holiday mini eggs, I might do the bird's nest as Christmas wreaths because I'm really kind of into this idea. So I am going to unwrap this and cut it into two. Such an indecisive soul, so that I can fit it in my Ziploc bag, because otherwise that's not going to fit. Because this is my bag, and this is my dough. So, oh, gingerbread cookie. It'd be good to have a couple of discs of gingerbread, too. I should have got my saran wrap. Oh, no, it's over here. Right. So let's grab a knife. Let's just cut this in half. I always love, like when they do, and I missed out this year, they do like the school fundraisers and you get a bucket of cookie dough to put in your freezer. I always love that because it's like when you have a cookie emergency, you can just pull a little bit out. So, smaller log. Hi, Rosie. And we'll get another piece of saran wrap. So once again, if you're going to bake your dough right now, first let it chill for an hour. Then you can just roll it up and slice it, or you can roll it out on a floured surface until it's 1/8 of an inch thick. Cut it out however you want. Bake at 375 for 6 to 10 minutes. Bam, you got cookies. However, Susie has got all this dough ready for a little bit closer to Christmas when she is ready to start eating cookies. Just gonna pop this in a freezer bag. Remove the air. So I've got 2 things of dough. This is also good because if I decide I only want to make half a batch, I have enough for 2 different instances. In the freezer, boom, you're ready to go. So if you do this now, 2 weeks from now, Susie, Nancy, Lorene, Laura, whomever is watching, well, thank you. 3 cups of flour, 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 2 eggs, 1.5 cups of sugar, a cup of butter, and a teaspoon of vanilla. That's all the ingredients. The recipe is in the comments. Once I finish the live, I will also link it in the description for people who are watching the replay and are trying to find it and are getting kind of lost. In the comments, it will be in the description as well. Let them chill for an hour, or roll it up and throw it in the freezer. And when you bake it, 375, 6 to 10 minutes, cookies that are about 1/8 of an inch thick. People, I'm pointing my finger a lot today. I think that we should make the wreath, the reimagined Easter's Bird-Nest cookies. We might do that next week. Maybe on my birthday, which is next Tuesday. No promises. We'll see. And then on Friday, we're making my magical bar cookies that are so good, you will eat them all the same day that you make them. And you better hope you have family around that lives with you to help you eat them, because otherwise you're going to have eaten 70 pounds of butter. But they're so good. So the event is in the Facebook group. The link, do I have the blog post or do I just have the list of ingredients? One or the other is there so that you can be ready to make them with me. They're so good. They're Susie's signature Christmas cookie. And we're going to turn Susie's signature Easter cookie into a Christmas cookie next week, I think. We got a lot of things lined up here. But that is it for today. I'm going to throw these in the freezer. I'm going to clean up my mess. And you see over here, the slow cooker has been making my supper. I'm hoping that it will be done so I can eat before I go to Zumba, but it's doing something sometime. Let's see. Oh, I'm all mixed up. Okay. Yeah. All right. That's it for today. If you make some sugar cookies, I want to see them. If you make some sugar cookie logs and throw them in the freezer, I want to see that too. Have a wonderful evening. Some of you I'll see at Zumba. But everybody else, have a wonderful evening, and I will see you next time. Thursday's Body Sculpt. Gotta burn some calories so you have room for extra cookies. And then Friday, we're gonna make my signature bar cookie. Have a good evening. Bye. I'm just gonna stand here and wiggle to the end.